Ever imagine your life crumbling only to discover you're sitting on a goldmine? Buckle up, because this is Emily's wild ride from zero to billionaire. And the family that broke her heart lived to regret it. Get ready for a story of betrayal, resilience, and sweet, sweet revenge. Okay, so picture this. Emily, a woman with a heart of gold, married into a family that treated her like dirt. They constantly belittled her, made her feel inadequate, and basically acted like she wasn't good enough for their precious son. Emily, being the loving and supportive wife she was, tried her best to ignore their nastiness and focus on her marriage. She cooked, cleaned, and did everything she could to make her husband and his family happy. But no matter what she did, it was never enough. They always found something to criticize, some way to make her feel small. The tension in the house was palpable, a thick, suffocating cloud that hung over Emily's head every single day. She felt trapped, isolated, and utterly alone, even though she was surrounded by family. Her husband, unfortunately, wasn't much help either. He seemed to turn a blind eye to his family's behavior, either because he was too afraid to stand up to them, or because he secretly agreed with their assessment of Emily. The emotional abuse was relentless, chipping away at her self-esteem, and leaving her feeling like a shell of her former self. Little did they know, Emily was about to have the last laugh. Then came the day they finally kicked her out. A petty argument escalated into a full-blown screaming match, orchestrated by the mother-in-law, of course. Words were exchanged, insults were hurled, and Emily found herself standing on the curb with a suitcase full of her belongings and a broken heart. Her husband didn't even try to stop them. He just stood there, watching her leave, a look of indifference on his face. It was the ultimate betrayal, the final nail in the coffin of their marriage. Emily felt numb, betrayed, and utterly devastated. Years of emotional abuse had finally taken their toll, and she felt like she had nothing left. She had given her all to this family, and they had repaid her with cruelty and contempt. As she walked away from their house, she couldn't help but wonder what she had done to deserve such treatment. Was she really that unworthy of their love and respect? The question swirled in her mind, compounding her pain, and leaving her feeling lost and alone in the world. But little did they know, this was just the beginning of Emily's incredible transformation. What they didn't know was that Emily's grandmother, whom she was incredibly close to, had recently passed away. And in her will, she left her entire fortune to Emily. Billions of dollars. Yep, you heard that right. Billions. Emily had no idea. She had been so focused on her marriage and trying to please her husband's family that she had even had time to grieve her grandmother's passing properly, let alone deal with the legalities of the inheritance. It wasn't until a lawyer tracked her down, weeks after she was kicked out, that she learned about her newfound wealth. At first, she couldn't believe it. She thought it was some kind of elaborate prank or a cruel joke, but the lawyer assured her that it was all true. Her grandmother had always believed in her, even when her own family didn't. She knew that Emily had a kind heart and a strong spirit, and she wanted to give her the means to live a life of happiness and fulfillment. Suddenly, everything changed. Emily went from being a penniless outcast to one of the wealthiest women in the city. Imagine the look on their faces when they found out. The same family who had treated her like garbage was now crawling back, begging for forgiveness and a piece of her newfound fortune. The mother-in-law, who had always been so quick to criticize her, was now showering her with compliments and trying to convince her that she had always loved her like a daughter. The husband, who had stood by and watched as his family abused her, was now desperately trying to win her back, showering her with flowers and promises of a better future. But Emily wasn't buying it. She saw right through their fake smiles and their crocodile tears. She knew that they didn't care about her. They only cared about her money, and she was determined to make them pay for their past transgressions. Emily decided that she wasn't going to let them get away with what they had done. She was going to use her newfound wealth to exact her revenge and show them what it felt like to be powerless and humiliated. Emily's revenge wasn't about being petty or cruel. It was about reclaiming her power and showing them the consequences of their actions. She started by buying the house they had kicked her out of. She then proceeded to evict them, leaving them scrambling to find a new place to live. Next, she bought the company her husband worked for and fired him. He was now unemployed and struggling to make ends meet. She then quietly started buying up properties all over town, strategically targeting businesses and assets owned by her former in-law. Soon, she owned half the town, and they were completely at her mercy. She didn't stop there. She used her influence to expose their shady business dealings and their corrupt practices. She revealed their secrets to the world, tarnishing their reputation and destroying their social standing. They were ostracized by their friends and colleagues, forced to live in shame and disgrace. Emily watched as their lives crumbled around them, a quiet satisfaction washing over her. But Emily wasn't just focused on revenge. She also used her wealth to do good in the community. She donated to local charities, funded scholarships for underprivileged students, and invested in projects that would benefit the city as a whole. She became a beloved figure in the community, admired for her generosity and her commitment to making a difference. She showed everyone that she wasn't just a vengeful she was a kind and compassionate person who cared about others. She even started a foundation to help women who had been victims of domestic abuse, providing them with the resources and support they needed to rebuild their lives. She wanted to use her experience to help others escape abusive situations and find their own path to healing and empowerment. Her actions spoke volumes, silencing any remaining doubts about her character. Her ex-husband and his family watched in disbelief as Emily transformed from a doormat into a powerful and influential figure. They couldn't believe that they had underestimated her so badly. They had thought they could control her, manipulate her, and take advantage of her kindness. But they were wrong. Emily had a strength within her that they never saw, a resilience that allowed her to overcome adversity and emerge stronger than ever before. They realized that they had made a huge mistake, and they regretted their actions deeply. They tried to apologize, to beg for forgiveness, but Emily wasn't interested. She had moved on with her life, and she wasn't going to let them drag her back into the past. She had learned a valuable lesson, that you can't let other people define you, and that you always have the power to create your own destiny. Emily's story is a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of self-worth, and the sweet satisfaction of revenge. It's a reminder that even when you're at your lowest point, you never know what the future holds. And sometimes, the people who try to tear you down end up being the ones who pave the way for your greatest success. She proved that kindness should be mistaken for weakness and that standing up for yourself is never wrong. Emily embraced her new life, surrounded by genuine friends and using her wealth to make a positive impact on the world. The family who had once discarded her now served as a constant reminder of how far she had come and the strength she had discovered within herself. Her journey from outcast to billionaire was complete, a testament to her unwavering spirit and her ability to turn adversity into triumph. So, what do you think of Emily's incredible story? Let me know in the comments below. Was her revenge justified? Would you have done things differently? I'm dying to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more amazing stories, and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching.